Good morning, Mayor and Council. The resolution before you today is an important resolution for a potential grant opportunity that we have. And so I wanted to first talk about where we were back in 2010. In 2010, through the Metropolitan Planning Organization, they created a regional trail plan. And as part of that, we looked at also inside the city and, of course, outside the city connections for our hike and bike trails, just to be able to get people in and around. And so the part that we have highlighted that I've tagged here, we have tagged, just shows you the part, the portion that we're talking about today that'll not only be connection inside the city limits, but also outside the city limits as the first real part of our regional trail plan that we put together, the city put together. So let me delve into the exact locations of what we're talking about. If you recall, as part of the Cumberland Road project, we had talked about a trail connection from Cumberland Road north to Grande. And that would give connectivity to the hike and bike trail on Grande and people an opportunity to come down and go to Faulkner Park. So we looked at a trail location possibility close to West Mud Creek, and just through iterations of where that trail could go, just could not make that connection. So this is an option, and we think it's a viable option. We think it's a good option to come extend down Grande to the west, where the hike and bike trail stops now by Holly Tree, and then come down Old Jacksonville on the east side of Old Jacksonville, and then cut into the development just south of Three Lakes Parkway, and then connect finally into Cumberland Road. And that's the route in the blue that we're showing. And then the route in the red that we're showing is really our regional connection. It goes outside the city limits very quickly. It starts at Fresh, and I'll get into some details about where these trails go in just a second. And then it ends down in Gresham, but it goes through and along the rail corridor that TxDOT has. And so they would be obviously a partner in this project to provide that rail corridor for us to put this facility on. And so with that, I want to go into just some zoomed in details. So Route A would start, like I said, by Fresh. There's a signalized intersection there at Three Lakes and Old Jacksonville. We have pedestrian features that people can cross at that intersection on. And then we continue down the rail corridor, as you see, to the south. And then it'll pass Trendsetters. There's already a piece of right-of-way that's dedicated to the city as a city street, or as a street, I should say. And that'll connect us into and over to Old Jacksonville. And we'll go along the right-of-way of Old Jacksonville and utilize the intersection that is existing at Old Jacksonville and Loop 49, or Toll 49. In the future, we see that as a signalized intersection just because of the utilization of that intersection. So it's not signalized now, but they can still utilize that. And then come down Toll 49 a little ways, back to the rail corridor, and then end finally in Gresham at the area behind, there's some restaurants there in that area in Gresham, just south of Toll 49. So we're excited about and this is Route A. We're excited about what this does for us regionally. That rail corridor goes all the way down to Bullard, so there is potential in the future for some kind of trail system to extend even all the way down to Bullard. So the next segment, or segment B, would tie in, like I said, at the end of Grande, which is the top of the picture, and proceed down the Encore easements, and there's Encore and gas lines and multiple easements in that area that we would obviously work with those entities and go at the back of those properties, and then come down Old Jacksonville, which you see in the bottom part, middle part of the picture, all on the east side, and then come down to Dueling Oaks, if I'm not mistaken, that's the name of the road, and we've already spoken with, or talked with many of the property owners along this route. We still have a few more property owners we need to talk to. Steve Thornton is the one here. He's excited about this potential trail. And then we get over into the Encore easement that would then take us down all the way to tying the Cumberland Road. So that's the connectivity that people would take if they wanted to get over to Faulkner Park as part of this system. So this grant requires that City Council pass a resolution authorizing the application and with TxDOT and creating a local match. And so I wanted to go into a little bit more detail about the local match and what this means for us. So in